You know one thing I don't miss? BLM taking advantage of people. Oh, I'm so happy that's all over. BLM, Black Lives Matter, you remember them? They would grift using racism to get money for their own gains and then not even help out the communities they said they were going to help out. But ever since Joe Biden got elected, seems like they just disappeared. Some people have been asking him about where's his money going, what are you doing with the money, money. You know, the one thing they were really worried about to help infrastructure and help communities and help reform the police, and doesn't seem like they did anything with it, but at least we don't have to hear from them anymore. A notification? Wonder what it is. A BLM list of demands. Here we go again. Let's see what they gotta say. Maybe they reform themselves. Maybe it's actually reasonable. You know, maybe it's some general guidelines that everybody should go by. Hey, give them a chance, right? 1. Convict and ban Trump from future political office. How'd I know this was going to be about Trump? Most people know that BLM was a tool used by Democrats to help get Trump out of office. Most people know that. So the fact they got some shit to say about Trump, not too surprising. But let's read on. We are joining Representative Ilhan Omar. Rob the gate with the bullshit. One of the worst politicians we have right now. Probably just like right behind AOC, considering AOC just keeps like making shit up all the time and getting caught in 4K for all the bullshit she tries to pull. She's like right behind that. And others who are demanding Trump be immediately convicted in the United States Senate. I mean, you don't really have to make that demand. They're already trying to do that, so don't know why you need to demand it. Trump must also be banned from holding elected office in the future. I mean, that's kind of the point of convicting him. If he's convicted, he can't run again. At least I know. But you can't just like demand that to happen. You have to have a little thing called, evidence and due process. But I don't like Trump or Biden, so whatever. But you have to go through the proper channels. I'm really surprised they haven't said anything about Biden, but maybe they will, because he's worse than Trump for the black community if you go by what he has done and what they have said. So there's got to be some Biden in here somewhere. All right, number 2, expel Republican members of Congress who attempted to overturn the election and cited a white supremacist attack. Something that did not happen. So you want to just eliminate Republicans because they disagree with you. Is that what I'm getting? Nobody attempted to overturn the election. People were talking about election fraud, which actually happened, just not to the level that would have overturned an election. Even with all the election fraud evidence that's out there, I still don't believe that Trump was going to win that election. I don't think Democrats really needed to try and sway the election and try to make Joe Biden like the most popular president of all time, which obviously not. They would have had it. They would have had it. People were sick of Trump, so they would have voted for anybody. And there was no white supremacist attack. There is no fucking evidence of that at all. And if you want to talk about January 6th, of the 5 people that died, 4 of them were Trump supporters. The people that were storming the Capitol ended up fucking themselves up. I feel like that's a win for y'all. They say here, more than half of the Republican representatives and multiple senators stoked Trump's conspiracy theories and encouraged the white supremacists to take action to overturn the election. Evidence would be nice of any of this. You can't just demand stuff without evidence, because if you go to the bottom of this page, they don't have citations for anything. They're just spewing bullshit. Let's jump to 3. Launch a full investigation into the ties between white supremacy and the Capitol Police, law enforcement, and the military. If you're gonna do that, which there's very little of it, is very, very little of it, and very little evidence of it, why don't you just go after all hate? There's plenty of people from all races, black, white, Chinese, all races, that are very hateful and hate each other. There's plenty of people that are black and racist. Probably just as many that are white and racist. So why not go after both sides? The Capitol was able to be breached and overturned by white supremacists. A lie. Attempting to disrupt the political process that is fundamental to our democracy. They thought that the voting system was fucked up. That was why they were storming the Capitol. They thought that the election was being swayed by Democrats and their voice wasn't being heard, and they took the wrong approach by storming the Capitol. Obviously, that was dumb. It was a stupid thing, but they weren't all white supremacists. It's because you support Donald Trump doesn't make you a white supremacist. That's just dumb thought. We know that the police departments have been a safe haven for white supremacists. No, they haven't. Not since the 60s, 50s? That's just a bold-faced lie. Anybody that gets caught now shooting a black person at all is under investigation. And they're all weeded out pretty much. I'd say most police that are racist, for the most part, are weeded out or continually getting weeded out as we go. This doesn't make any sense to me because it's something that's already happening. I'm not saying there aren't racist cops. I'm just saying it's very, very few because the badge was created for that purpose. The badge was created for white supremacy. I'm going to let those brain worms just mold around there for a minute because that's all sorts of stupid I don't want to deal with. All right, let's go number 4. Number 4. Might get better. Permanently ban Trump from all media platforms. Why? Why? What's the reasoning behind that? I don't understand it. I don't get it. There's a lot of other people that say and do a lot worse shit. But hey, hold reservations. Let's see what they got to say. Maybe there's some proof here. Okay. Trump has always used his digital media platforms recklessly and irresponsibly to spread lies and disinformation. I mean, he has used it recklessly. And there has been some lies. Very truthful. But doesn't, every politician, pretty much, especially the ones that you name at the top of this list, who have done this constantly, but they're a different skin color, so it doesn't matter, right? But wasn't he, already banned from everything? I know Elon Musk talked about reinstating him because everybody should have a voice, which everybody should have a voice in my opinion. I don't care how shitty of a person you are. Digital platforms are our way of speaking now. If you don't use social media, like me, I just post videos to it. I literally haven't used social media for socializing in years. I'm basically translucent at this point. You can ban people for short periods of time. That's fine. I know you gotta give people their jail time and oh, you did this wrong. You go and do that. Hey, come back out reformed. But nobody in the world should have permanent bans on any social platform, in my opinion. So that's more dumb juice. Defund the police. One of the stupidest arguments anybody could have, but let's see what they gotta say. The police that met our BLM protesters this summer with assault rifles, tear gas, and military-grade protective gear were the same police that on Wednesday met white supremacists with patience and the benefit of the doubt. No, it's not what happened. There were people that were rioting and throwing fucking Molotov cocktails and destroying public and private property. Those are the people that they were going against. It just so happened that most of the violence happening the last 2 summers were by BLM and Antifa, who basically are the same in a way. They kind of join. They did the whole Wonder Twins activate type shit. And they were the ones causing most of the mayhem, and all of the Trump supporters and all of the Republicans that were on the opposite side weren't really causing much violence. So of course the police are going to talk a little bit better to the ones that are just showing with signs and try and get the ones out of the way that are trying to take over cities, literally trying to take over cities. The contrast was jarring. Yeah, that kind of happens when one side's extremely violent and going in the grocery stores and causing crazy mayhem. And when somebody says, oh, you can't be in here with a loudspeaker because, it's a fucking grocery store, you and your mob start throwing food and beating up the people just for asking you to leave their establishment. I feel like police are going to try and tackle that issue a little harder. It's got to be 0.02% of police officers out there that abuse their power for racist intent. That's just the way it is. All the other policemen are out there trying to do their fucking jobs, and y'all ain't helping. A lot of people that want to defund the police are the ones that can, have their own security. The people who are trying to defund the police aren't thinking about the people in low-income areas and middle-class areas where you're going to have to defend for yourself after that, and you can't hire your own bodyguards like all of these elites and all of these fucking representatives can. That's the big problem. Defunding the police is one of the most moronic ideas I've ever heard of. Restructuring the police, which is currently going on and takes fucking time. People don't change overnight. Institutions don't change overnight. But police are starting to check each other more now. The racism that used to run rampant with police officers back in the day is not really there anymore. A lot of these talking points are extremely old and outdated. I don't know where they get off trying to demand all this stuff, but it's kind of crazy. Number 6, don't let the coup be used as an excuse to crack down on our movement. Oh, this is going to be a good one. In response to the coup, politicians have already introduced the Domestic Terrorism Protection Act of 2021. Yes, I like it. I actually like that act. Cool. Less people terrorizing our country, the better. We've seen this playbook before. These laws are used to target black and brown communities. No, they're not. Where's the evidence? It's used to stop violent acts from happening. And isn't BLM the ones that were going after all of the mass shooters and all the schools and everything, the domestic terrorists? They're going up and shooting schools, shooting lobbies, all the white ones. When it comes to fucking shooting a bunch of people up, I feel like white people kind of hold that trophy, and we don't want it. But we have to have it because young white people get crazy. They're pretty big domestic terrorists, right? Well, they're like the main target of that. But let's carry on. Republicans are already busy trying to create an equivalence between the mob on January 6th and our Freedom Summer. Freedom Summer was 10,000 times worse. More people died, more property damage, more people lost their businesses than anything. Actually 2 summers, but it was mostly the one summer. More damage was done by BLM and Antifa supporters than white supremacists have done probably in like 20 years. You don't have to take these guys' words for it. And I think that this is a big reason BLM is starting to be looked at as a joke lately, especially from a lot of people in the black community, because there's a ton of evidence that goes against everything they say and everything they're about, including all that money they were going to help black communities with. If by help black communities you mean yourselves, yeah, you did that really well. We don't need new domestic terror laws. I feel like we do. Facial recognition, that's up for debate. I'll be with that one. Or any new police power for the state. Depends on what's going on in that state. Like if you look at California, rampant with crime right now. Just rampant. And they keep making new laws to make it easier for criminals to be criminals. So in that instance, I believe a little extra power might not be the worst thing to try and help. But let's continue. Our government should protect righteous protest. I fully agree with you. The first thing I fully agree with on this list. And stay focused on the real issue. Rooting out white supremacy. Well, that's already kind of done. There's barely any of it in the entire country. Good job. Already got that one done. There are enough laws, resources, and intelligence, but they were not used to stop the coup. Okay. I agree with that. I agree with that one. January 6th, there was enough. They kind of knew it was coming, and it still wasn't stopped. So with that particular instance, yeah, that should have been taken care of. But because that should have been taken care of, that doesn't mean that we should ignore all the bullshit these BLM people keep doing. Now, one wrong doesn't exactly trump another wrong, especially when BLM's wrong is more deaths, more people out of business, more people losing their homes because of it, more damage to the country, more racial divide, and they were funded. So they stole tens of millions of dollars from people, whereas the people who did the coup really didn't. It was really stupid, but it's not comparable. So if you guys want to compare, it doesn't look good for you. Our elected officials must uncover why. They're currently doing that. They just fucking raided Trump's house to try and get evidence on him so that he can't run again. Going back to one of your previous points, it's already something that's happening right now. So you can't just click your fingers and it happens. Due process. All right, number 7. Gotta begin to some actual current day shit. Not old shit. Current day shit. Let's see what they got. All right, number 7. passed the Breathe Act. I'm assuming he's going to have to do something with George Floyd. That was really horrendous to watch. I watched the whole thing. Dude was on him for way too long. They already had him in the vehicle, and then some dumbass officer opened up the door on the other side, letting him out, and then they had to fucking detain him on the ground, which wasn't right, but it's kind of weird that they already had him in a vehicle. All they had to do was shut the door, could have been done, but some dumbass opened the door on the other side for reasons unknown, and not many people talk about it for some reason. So that's something I can totally get behind. Unlike Breonna Taylor, which had nothing to do with excess of anything, she was just in the wrong place at the wrong time with the wrong boyfriend, with the wrong drugs, with the wrong gun. It was just a very, very bad situation. There was a no-knock warrant. They went in there. Fucking, the dude was fucking being a dumbass. She was standing behind him like a dumbass. She should have been in a different room. They shouldn't even been doing anything. They should have just been there. And then as soon as the police go in, this. You want to know how you prevent most people getting shot from police? This is how you stop 98% of it. That's all you do. Right here. Just, yep. That's all you gotta do. And that's something we need to weed out. Dumb cops in general. In general. The police were born off slave patrols. Another lie. Another blatant fucking lie. Holy shit, they're getting desperate. They were actually created around the mid-1600s. I want to say 1638, but I might be wrong. And they were actually organized because they were doing night watches, all these communities. And it wasn't as effective, so what they did was they privately funded people to keep watch because there was a fucking excess of gambling, degenerates, prostitution, fucking men and women of the night, and all sorts of weird forms. And they were there to protect people. It wasn't from slave patrols. Yes, there were slave patrols, but our current day policing units were not born from that. That's just a blatant lie. We cannot reform an institution built upon white supremacy. It's not. So, we've evolved from brainworms into cranial maggots. We need a new radical approach to public safety and community investment. I don't like the radical part, but we're going to keep going. President Biden has already drawn on the Breathe Act in his executive actions calling for racial equality screening in federal programs. Wait. You guys are for President Biden. Oh my God. The president that has said the worst things about black people in my lifetime. I've never heard a president talk so lowly about black people that I have President Joe Biden. Why are you supporting this guy? Oh, it's because he's a Democrat, right? Just because he's a Democrat? Doesn't matter his credentials. Doesn't matter what you say. We're not going to mention that Trump had a platinum plan to help out a bunch of black communities and it was like stifled from Biden and everything. You're not going to mention that. No. It's inconvenient to your argument. It's inconvenient. I thought they were going to slam Biden here. I was really waiting for it. I thought this last one was going to do it. So weird to me. This also helps prove the point that BLM was being used by Democrats to win the election. And that some of those hoax little fucking things going around, the BLM flyers, kind of makes him seem a little more realistic now. He is also investing in environmental justice at historic levels. Where? When? How? Because I haven't seen any of it. The Breathe Act paints a vision of a world where Black lives matter through investments in housing, education, health, and environmental justice. So here's the problem with this. Black lives matter. All lives matter, first off. Let's get that out of the way. Call me racist all you want. I will stick up for anybody that is having issues. Period. I don't care what you look like. If you're having injustice, I think it should be dealt with. And I feel like we're on a good path for helping all the injustices. But BLM keeps throwing this crazy racist shit at everybody, and it's not helping. The media, the government, BLM, you're all the problem. All of you are the problem with this. If we didn't have to see the racial bullshit on screen 24/7, most of us would be forgetting about it. Oh, let's not forget about social media. The races being pitted against each other there is just insane. And that's how all these people want you to think. Racism is not nearly as big of an issue as they want you to believe. They want you to believe this shit so you keep lining their fucking pockets. Because as long as there's a problem, they'll promise a solution, but they don't want that solution for free. You gotta dally it up a little bit. I do believe in this though. Let me rephrase this. The BREATHE Act paints a vision of a world where all lives matter through investments in housing, education, health, and environmental justice. Doesn't that sound great? Doesn't that sound like a world that you want to live in? Because what it sounds like here, it sounds like they're looking for handouts. Through investments, housing, education, health. Okay, how are we supposed to help your health? You can already get healthcare at the same rate as everybody else. Education, you get the same as everybody else. Housing, same as everybody else. It's just the fact that there are a lot more low-income areas that are primarily black. And that sucks. And I think we need to help those communities out a little bit more. Stop the welfare state. Stop supporting single mothers by fucking doling out checks to them. You actually need to help these communities in general. I can fully get behind that one. Just like all the white people that are stuck in fucking trailer parks, having trailers that are full of mold and asbestos and are making people sick all the time, feeling like they don't have any opportunities. I feel like ghettos and trailer parks are very similar. They are. They both have an abundance amounts of violence. They both are low income, and they both feel like they can never get out. I feel like they need to like join forces or some shit and make some kind of fucking transformers so they can get the fuck out of their situations. Environmental justice. I'm curious on what that is. Let me look it up quick. Okay, this is from the EPA, so pretty sure it's gonna be relatively accurate. Environmental justice is the fair treatment and meaningful involvement of all people regardless of race, color, national origin, or income with respect to the development and enforcement of environmental laws, regulations, and policies. This goal will be achieved when everyone enjoys the same degree of protection from environmental and health hazards. Agreed? I mean, I feel like that's kind of mostly a thing already, but yeah, I'm on board. Equal access to the decision-making process to have a healthy environment in which to live, learn, and work. Yeah. Yeah! Fuck yeah, okay. I feel like there's some nefarious shit under this because that's just my feeling. But on the surface, I like it. Okay, how did this environmental justice movement arise? Let's see. The environmental justice movement was started by individuals, primarily people of color, who sought to address the inequality of environmental protection in their communities. Okay, I don't see any problem with that. The civil rights movement of the 1960s sounded a lot. We all know about the civil rights movement. But their communities, okay, so they're kind of backing from that. They're going off the civil rights movement. There's actually not much here. Honestly, if you go to the EPA, to environmental justice, it's just a very loose outline of we should protect each other better. Which I see no problem with. All right, some common ground. Environmental justice, check. Protecting people, check. Rooting out racism in general, check. They won't agree with that statement because I don't know if they understand that black people can be racist too. Nick Cannon. It's just one example. I don't agree with banning anybody from office without due process. I don't agree with expelling all Republicans. That's ridiculous. And I feel like they're being used again by the Democrats because Republicans are kind of edging them out right now. So I think they're trying to get some of them knocked down, removed, so it gives Democrats primary control again. That's just my feeling. I almost feel like this is being run by political Democrats in general. And they even say it. They even really say it at the beginning. We are joining representative. I don't think they're joining. I think they're just being transparent about it now. Defund the police. The most idiotic thing you could ever do. I don't even know why you'd want to do this. It's going to hurt the black community. Probably the worst. So, don't know why you would do that. Banning Trump from all digital platforms. Hey, I wasn't a fan of Trump. I'm not a fan of Biden, okay? So I have no horse in this race. But he does put out some fire tweets, though. All the backlash he gets from it, oh, it's glorious. Oh, it's delicious. I love reading about it. I can't help it. I love some drama. Don't let the coup be used as an excuse to crack down on our movement. You kind of shot yourself in the foot there because you're It's not really a movement. It's more of like a organized destruction. Not as of late, because, there's a Democrat in power. But I guarantee if a Republican gets in office next, it's going to be hellfire again. And they're going to fucking call you racist if you try to call it out. And they're going to call police racist just because they're trying to do their goddamn jobs. Okay, if you type in Breathe Act, it goes straight to a breatheact.org. So let's see what this is. Here we go. Okay. The framework divests our taxpayer dollars from brutal and discriminatory policing, very little of it, and invest it in a new vision of public safety. Hey, if you got a better way to do it, I want to hear it. A vision that answers the call to defund the police and allows all communities to finally breathe free. No! It's another defund the police fucking bullshit scam. That's what these are. Defund the police is a scam. It's dumb. I know there's something else behind this. It's weird. The fucking Breathe Act. That's what you want. That's why you like Joe Biden. There is not one single fucking law on the books, period, that discriminates black or white over another, Mexican over one another, Asian over another in America. If you fuck up and break the law, you fucked up and broke the law. It's a fucking universal thing. So when you say the criminal legal system failed, no, it didn't. People who are there to enforce it have failed. So you gotta take and you gotta fucking restructure that a little bit. You gotta get better training, blah, blah, blah. That's just how it's gotta happen. But to say that the whole system is fucked up and is racist, what the fuck are you on? And don't pass it to me because I don't want any.